Imagine a world where knowledge was power, where the stars held secrets, and where one woman dared to challenge the limits of her time. My name is Athena, and I am a descendant of Hypatia of Alexandria, a woman whose brilliance lit up the ancient world but whose life was tragically cut short. This is her story, a story of courage, passion, and betrayal. A story that begins under the starry skies of Alexandria, where a young girl dreamed of understanding the universe. Born in 360 AD, Hypatia grew up in a world of wonder. Her father, Theon, was a renowned mathematician and philosopher. He saw something extraordinary in her, a mind hungry for knowledge. While other girls were confined to traditional roles, Hypatia was solving complex equations and mapping the stars. She was different. She was destined for greatness. Theon once said, "My daughter, you will surpass even me," and she did. By the time she was a young woman, Hypatia had mastered mathematics, astronomy, and philosophy, subjects that were considered the domain of men. But Hypatia didn't care about boundaries. She believed knowledge belonged to everyone. Hypatia became the head of the Neoplatonic school in Alexandria, a place where the brightest minds gathered. Students from across the empire flocked to her lectures. She taught them how to measure the heavens, how to solve the mysteries of numbers, and how to think for themselves. Her brilliance was magnetic, her words transformative. She wasn't just a teacher, she was a beacon of light in a world growing darker by the day. But as her influence grew, so did the whispers. In a city torn apart by religious strife, Hypatia's devotion to reason and science made her a target. Alexandria was changing. The city, once a melting pot of cultures and ideas, was being torn apart by religious strife. Christianity was on the rise, and with it came intolerance. Hypatia, a pagan in a Christian world, became a symbol of everything the new order despised: reason, science, and freedom of thought. The whispers against her grew louder, the danger closer. Yet, Hypatia refused to back down. She continued to teach, to question, to inspire. But the storm was coming. In 415 AD, the unthinkable happened. A mob, fueled by hatred and incited by those in power, dragged Hypatia from her chariot. They called her a witch, a heretic. But she was neither. She was a woman who dared to think, to question, to dream. They stripped her, tortured her, and killed her in the most brutal way imaginable. Her body was burned, her legacy almost erased. But not quite. In her final moments, Hypatia stood tall, unbroken. She was a martyr for intellectual freedom, a symbol of what humanity can achieve when we dare to reach for the stars. Hypatia's death was a tragedy, but her legacy lives on. She was a pioneer, a trailblazer, and a beacon of hope for generations to come. Today, her name is whispered in classrooms, written in books, and celebrated by those who believe in the power of knowledge. She was more than a mathematician, more than a philosopher. She was a symbol of what we can achieve when we dare to think, to question, to dream. Hypatia once said, "Reserve your right to think, for even to think wrongly is better than not to think at all." Her words echo through the centuries, a reminder that the pursuit of knowledge is worth any price. This is her story, and it's a story that will never be forgotten.